Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Our normal prelude music has gone away, so I'm just going to start right in. Welcome to Unity of Charlotte. So great to see everyone here on this crisp winter morning. And if you're joining us on Zoom, welcome. We're delighted to have you here with us. I'm Reverend Lisa Herklotz. I am co-minister here at Unity of Charlotte with Reverend Jim Ernstsen, who will be sharing the message today. And we just want you to know how glad we are that you're here joining us together. There's nothing more important than community, especially right now. So thank you for being here and making this a priority for your morning. At Unity, we share a mission statement that is a statement of why we're here. So I invite you to join me in repeating this statement. Unity of Charlotte is the place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. Thank you. And now I just want to see if there's anyone here for the first time visiting us. Welcome. Welcome. We're delighted to have you here. Our ushers will give you a packet of information to learn more about Unity, but please stay afterwards. Come and reach out to Reverend Jim and myself or any of our community members at the Fellowship Hall. And we're glad you're here. Welcome. Welcome. We invite all of you to reach out to Unity for more information. We have a lot of different ways you can find out what's going on here. One is our website, and we have a weekly newsletter that goes out. You can sign up for that newsletter on our website. We have a YouTube channel in which you can watch any of our previous talks. And we have a bulletin board outside, which I invite you, if you're here in person, to go check, because there's lots of things going on that we can't talk about everything in our announcements, but there's always more information on the bulletin board. So take a look at that as you're on your way to get coffee in the Fellowship Hall. And on that note, let's move into prayer. I invite you to gently close your eyes and just take a moment to turn all your focus and attention inward. As we move into prayer, I invite you to let these words be your own personal words. I turn within and move from my head to my heart to that space which is my inner sanctum, the upper room, the holy ground where I meet my divine source, God, Spirit, love, life. This is my prayer as I rest in this space, claiming and affirming the power and presence of God lives in me, as me, and moves through me into this world. Jesus often claimed, we are here to be the light of the world, and this is the way I do that. First, turning within and finding my own light. And then turning without and recognizing the light in others. Especially at a time when the outer world may be offering so many challenges, the appearance of so much hatred and division and anger and fear. It is my opportunity to stand strong in my knowing the presence of God and the power of divine order working in and through every situation. Looking past the appearances and knowing this truth, I extend this light to comfort, to heal, to strengthen all of those who maybe haven't remembered yet. I see the power of this energy and this light moving around our community, our local neighborhoods, our country, especially through our leaders. This power of light and life moving out in every direction, especially in those places that seem the darkest. Knowing this presence is what gives me the strength to move forward and do what I am guided to do, to be the presence of love, to be a presence of strength, and to be in action to help my neighbors. And we are all neighbors. In the name and power of the presence of that Christ light within, I say thank you, and so it is. I now invite you to join me in saying together Unity's prayer of oneness, which is also, by the way, our first unity basic principle. There is one presence and one power in my life and universe, God, the good, omnipotence. And so it is. I'd now like to open up the space as you gently close your eyes again and bring to mind and to heart anyone you want to lift in prayer at this time. It's an opportunity to speak their name aloud or in your heart as we join together and uplift them in prayer. Please speak that name now. Lawrence. World leaders. Mom. Unity. We affirm and claim the presence of Spirit already moving in each one of these situations and individuals to bring about the best and highest good. And so it is. I want to remind you that prayer is very important to us here at Unity. Prayer was what Unity was founded on, really, and the power of prayer. So we have a prayer team that is here to support you in uplifting your prayers and multiplying the power of them. We have a prayer box right outside the door. You can write a prayer request and put it in that box. It will go to our prayer team. They will pray on it. And when they are done, they send it to Silent Unity, at our global organization, where they continue to pray on it. There's also a form online that you can use if you want to send a prayer anytime, and that will come to our prayer team. I now invite Kathy up to read our daily word.
Good morning. The daily word for today is generous. And the affirmation is, I give with an open heart. I am generous. Keeping my heart open elevates my experience of generosity. If I give begrudgingly, fearful of not having enough for myself, I am not being truly generous. There is joy and trust in being generous. There is joy in knowing that there is no lack at the level of spirit, and my generous impulses are my way of demonstrating my faith in this truth. I place my trust in the spiritual truth that as I give, I also receive. Generosity is a spiritual practice, a commitment to fully participating in the flow of life. As I give generously, I receive the richness of grace, love, and peace. I relax into the flow of synchronicity and receive unexpected blessings. Generosity is the gift I give myself. And from 2 Corinthians 9:6, the point is this: the one who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. The one who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. Thank you.
Thank you.
In the past few weeks, we've talked about new beginnings. That's kind of been our theme for January. And you'll notice a theme as we move forward month to month. It's thriving, but this was thriving. January was thriving through new beginnings. Thriving through new beginnings. Today, we're going to see what that looks like as those new beginnings unfold for us. So new beginnings, but they're going to unfold for us. They're going to flow. They're going to unfold. Let's go ahead to that next slide, because we're going to jump right into our affirmation. So I'm going to say it out loud once, and then I'm going to ask you to repeat it with me. My new beginnings unfold with enthusiasm. So please, with me. My new beginnings unfold with enthusiasm. Unfold. And that's what I'm focused on today, is allowing that new beginning to unfold. So what is this new beginning that I'm talking about, that we're talking about here today? It's really whatever you're working on. That new beginning can be different for each and every one of us. That new beginning is whatever you're working on. It's a chance to start over. It might be a chance to do something a little bit different now and in the future. It can be a fresh start, maybe a new relationship, or a fresh start with that old relationship at work. It can be a new situation. It can be a personal goal that you're working on. That new beginning is an opportunity for ourselves as we start this new year. Or I'm suggesting that this new beginning can be what's happening here at Unity of Charlotte as well. What is it that we're moving into as a community, a spiritual community? What is new? What is vibrant? What is exciting? How will we thrive in these days and months ahead in 2025? Will we birth something new, something more? Could it be better? Maybe even. What is it that you can imagine that Unity of Charlotte can do? What is it that you can imagine? And does that give you a little tingle of excitement? It does for me. It's a new chapter and attitude. When we look at a new beginning, what that means for me is it's a new chapter, it's a new attitude that matches my values. Does that make sense? I might have a set of values that I think about, that I try and live from, that I set on a pedestal maybe. Can I live from those on a day-to-day basis as well? Does my living match my values? And maybe that's what the new beginning is as well. And I'm asking you, can you imagine living that way on a moment-by-moment basis? So living as it matches your values, and hopefully those high values, on a moment-by-moment basis, where your actions match your values 100% of the time. At least that's my goal. That is my goal. I stumble. I don't. Sometimes I don't live. My actions are not those of my values. But my goal is to live in accord with those values as well. So that's the new beginning that we're talking about. How does it, we've also used the word unfold. How does it unfold for us? Well, I believe that, first of all, we recognize that the universe is constantly unfolding and flowing right there in front of us. It's nothing we have to chase after. It's unfolding and flowing with ease right there in front of us. It's something we participate, we engage in, we wrap our arms around, but it's a unfolding. It's a flowing. And our Wednesday night group is reading In the Flow of Life as well, that Eric Butterworth book. And that talks about unfolding and flowing as well. It's that trying to cling on to things as they are, that's not so natural. So that's not the flowing. I guess I've switched into what isn't it. The unfolding and the flowing is not grasping on to something that we want to hang on to with dear life. It's not white-knuckling it. If you're white-knuckling something, that's not flowing. That's not unfolding. You might want to look at that once again. And I would argue that that white-knuckling it is possibly the cause of pain and suffering. So it's embracing life where we are with that allowing it to flow as well. And that was the term that Reverend Lisa used as well. That's the divine order within this universe that we inhabit, where we live. That divine order is flow itself. That's what it is. So seeing life unfold can be exhilarating. It can be exciting. It can be happy. This is the flow. And this is what we can embrace, is that unfolding and is that flow as well. So we're going to talk about three things today as we embark on this new opportunity, this unfolding, this flow. We're going to talk about moving out of our comfort zone is one. Two, we're going to talk about bringing commitment to the game of this unfolding, of this flow. And then allowing and feeling the enthusiasm to this process as well. So those three things. So let's jump into number one. Allowing ourselves to move out of our comfort zone. This is pushing the envelope, is what this is. This is moving beyond the place where you feel the safest. This is pushing past any fear or worry that you might have. This is the fear that you feel, if I do something, could I possibly fail? Could I possibly stumble? That's the fear that I'm talking about. We are meant to do great things. Do you believe that? Good. You're in the right place. We are meant to do great things. Safety is not part of that. That's the kicker there. Safety, finding your little, comfort zone and in a corner, is not part of that doing of great things. Take a risk is what we're talking about. We're talking about taking a risk. Rather than staying safe, we can think about this quote. And honestly, I don't know who said this first, so I'm not going to give credit to anybody. But the quote is, "A ship is always safe at port, but that's not what it's built for." Right? A ship is meant to travel, to go out of its comfort zone in port as it just bobs along. So the ship is always safe at port. That's not what it's built for. Neither are we. We're not meant to simply sit and be safe and not challenge ourselves and the situations that we show up. Our purpose is to step out and be brave. And when you have in the past, didn't it feel great? When you were able to step out, be brave, and hopefully succeed, that felt great. But even if you stumbled, we know, because you're here, you stood back up, you dusted yourself off, and you went back on your way again. That's okay as well. Our purpose is to step out. And back to the metaphor of the ship and the water as well, our purpose is to move out with that tide as well. We're made to head out toward that next adventure in life. That's who we are. That's who we are. And along with that risk, we can hopefully stop the fear of that possible failure. Because I know what it feels like. I've been there, that fear of failure and, wow, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I can just take a step back and not really do this. Because if I don't step out, I will never stumble. And maybe that's where I need to be. But that is the risk. And if we do stumble, it is stepping back up again. And that can be a learning opportunity for us as well. That was number one, moving out of our comfort zone. Number two, we're going to talk about commitment to this process of new unfolding ideas or new unfoldment within our lives, the commitment to that, knowing that my gifts and talents and focus will carry me forward beyond any fear, But I have to commit to this process. I have to commit. And I can't just test the waters and run away. I have to commit to the process as well. Commit to a path is what I'm suggesting here. The commitment to the path, because we're talking about spiritual concepts here, is that listening to your inner voice. That's the path that you are discovering, or that you have discovered in the past. Hearing the inner voice. And sometimes that process is, I would say, being still. Anybody wants to come to the minister's office? I have a plaque on the wall. You can take a look at that. It says, "Be still and know." This is the psalmist, this is the book of Psalms telling us how to find that message, how to find that inner voice. It's be still. Because if you're moving through life, yak, 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 chatter, 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 monkey mind, all the time, you don't have the chance to hear what truly is speaking to you. Be still and know. And then we can take a series of steps. Then we can commit to that path that we're talking about. That's where we make that commitment. But we have to know what it is first. We have to be still. We have to recognize it. And then we have to move with commitment, is what we're talking about. Moving out of our comfort zone into that commitment. We have to resist the temptation of having one foot on the path and the other foot, I don't know, going a different direction. That's what we have to resist, is that non-commitment, right? It's like, oh, maybe I should go this way, maybe I should go that way. That's what we have to resist. And going back to our sailing metaphor, has anybody ever been sailing or even in a rowboat? You got one foot in the rowboat and the other foot on the dock? Isn't that a disaster waiting to happen? Right? And then it's like, whoa. So hopefully you didn't fall in and get wet, but that's the metaphor. We have to pick. Jump on the dock, commit fully to the boat, but not one foot in the other, trying to play it safe. That's not how we move forward in life. And we bring confidence to this commitment. If we are jumping into that boat, it's here we go. It's feeling that adventure, and here we go as well. You've listened, you've determined what that has been in your life. You know that it's the right thing for you to do. You commit with confidence. Those are the steps in this commitment process of this. Number 3, so we've talked about moving out of the comfort zone, that commitment to the process. This number 3 is allowing and feeling the enthusiasm of the process. That's what this number 3 is. Bringing passion, bringing energy, bringing excitement, bringing fervor. Can you tell I used a thesaurus this week? Because I don't usually use the word fervor. But there it is, and it made sense to me. Allowing and feeling enthusiasm with this process. Let's go ahead to that next slide. We have got the prophet Isaiah in the Old Testament telling us that, as he talks about, I'm about to do this new thing. Now it springs forth. This is the prophet saying, a new thing, and it springs forth for us. Not that it wafts up, not that it floats along or bubbles up. Again, here's my thesaurus work this week. It does not mean that we're treading water, right? We have a blanket in the back. If anyone's cold, there's a blanket in the back. I understand that it's a cold day and our boiler doesn't always work like we think it should. Metaphysically, so we know that when we look at the Bible, when we read these quotes, when we study the Old Testament, New Testament, Hebrew scriptures, Christian scriptures, that we're not necessarily taking all of them literally. We do move through a process of metaphysical interpretation within unity. And I'd like to look at that as we look at this quote, as the scripture from Isaiah. I'm going to read more of it, a little bit ahead, a little bit behind, and you're going to recognize the middle part that we just did. So let's apply some of the metaphysics to this scripture in Isaiah. And it goes like this. Remember not the former things. What are these? Remember not the former things. These are the previous endings. These are the things we let go of, maybe, in that burning bowl situation. These are the things that we're walking away from at New Year's Eve. This is what he's talking about. Remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Could the things of old be that comfort zone that we're talking about? Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Yeah, it's here. It's in front of me. It's in my face. Boom. Let's bring enthusiasm to it, right? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. What does that mean? Metaphysically, I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. This is the new path. This is the new road that we've chosen. This is the direction that we're tweaking and moving in a new way. A river in the desert, headed in a certain way. The wild beasts will honor me. Whoa, maybe it's a little risky. The wild beasts. It might feel a little risky. It might feel like it's not safe as my warm and fuzzy place. And I love this. The wild beasts will honor me. The jackals and the ostriches. What does that mean? I don't know. And I laugh too. It's like, what is an ostrich supposed to be menacing? I don't know. But anyway, This is 3,000 years ago. The jackals and the ostriches. So it might feel warm, it might feel wild and unknown for a while, because I don't think ostriches were very common. So it might have been just unknown, something unknown for a while. For I give water in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. This might be God speaking to us. I give water in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. This is the support that we're going to get during that divine order as things unfold. This is the opulent universe that we live in showing up when we need it, right? You will be supported. Water in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. I give drink to my chosen people. In other words, God will be there. And if God's not the word you choose, the divine will be there. The universe will show up if that's your word. Divine Spirit is what I use, is what I feel good with. But call it whatever you want to call it. It is that creative force that shows up for us when we need it. When we've committed. When we've gotten out of our comfort zone. Things happen and it shows up. Whatever you want to call that. Let's go to that next slide. This is Charles Fillmore. You've heard it before. If you haven't, Charles Fillmore is a co-founder. I know it's an F word. Co-founder of Unity, along with his wife Myrtle. He wrote this soon after his 94th birthday. He said, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm as I spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. Boy, I kind of butchered that a little bit. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm as I spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. Sizzles with zeal. Wasn't he feeling it? He woke up and his feet were moving. He sizzles with zeal. And there's that word again, springs. He springs forth. I can see him almost jumping out of bed that morning. He talks about enthusiasm and faith, that commitment that we've talked about as well. I can almost hear him saying, come on, let's get it done. Right? Let's not pause here. This is the excitement for our connection to divine guidance that I'm talking about. This enthusiasm, this zeal. And it's not on our own part. Understand that this message as well. If there's nothing else you take from this, this is not just you forcing your way through this. This is you joining with the universe. This is an unfolding of the universe. This is finding the flow and moving with it, with grace and honor. That's what this is. That's what this is. This is being a part of something bigger. We're not alone in this universe. When we think we are, we've disconnected. That's the error of things. We are part of a glorious, grand universe. We're right there in the middle of that. We open our hearts to that. We move with it. One last time, my affirmation for this week. My new beginnings unfold with enthusiasm. My new beginnings unfold with enthusiasm. Know that I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you. I see the divine in each and every one of you. Namaste. Let's go ahead and move into meditation at this time. So, I invite you to find a nice, comfortable spot. Find a place for your hands. Palms up, palms down, on your lap, on your legs, whatever feels comfortable. Closing your eyes if that feels natural for you. If closing your eyes is uncomfortable, take a look at this candle in the background. Maybe focus on that candle. You can gently hear that music in the background. And then find your breath. Notice that inhale and that exhale. Feel the breath, feel the movement, find the rhythm of that breath. This is a time we move from that thinking part of our head down into that feeling part of our heart space. Our breath moves. We focus on that heart space. We relax. We might even notice that each exhale relaxes this body a little tiny bit more as we sink down into this chair. As we feel that warmth spreading in that heart space. You might imagine this is that comfort we feel knowing that we are not alone. This is knowing we belong to something greater, something that is good, something that English might define as love. We focus and we move deeper into that feeling of love. We know that we were created in that image as well. That creative process created us in love. We share in that attribute. This is natural for us. Living, loving, knowing that. Bringing this love to each and every situation in our lives is how we make the world a better place. As we move into a moment or two of silence. And as we bring our attention back into the space, maybe taking a deeper breath, hearing the noises around us, maybe opening our eyes, becoming one with the room again around us, I invite you to feel, just take a moment right now to feel how your body feels. Maybe there is that warmth in that chest, in your heart space. If it is, if it feels good, know that you can take that with you for the rest of the day. You can revisit it for the rest of the week. Namaste.
Thank you, Reverend Jim, for that sizzling talk. We needed it today because it's just cold in here. We will work on that and see what we can do with the heat, but otherwise we might bring some extra blankets just to get us through February. So this is the time of our service where we move into offering. And we do this remembering that we claim as we give, so do we receive. We talked about generosity in the daily word. It was so beautifully put. So we offer this time to open our wallets and open our hearts as we move forward and want to see Unity of Charlotte thrive in 2025. So there are many ways to become a consistent giver, which is very helpful to Unity of Charlotte in managing its the financial end. We have a donate button. You can text, give. We have a bill pay system, and we have QR codes that put you into PayPal or online to do donations if you choose to do so. There's little slips that'll be in the offering plate as it comes by. So if you want to use that code, just grab one of those slips out of our offering plate. So now I invite you to join with me as we speak our prosperity blessing together. Joyously, I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. We are light, love, power, and presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.